The night was silent until a scream tore through the darkness, echoing like a blade cutting through still air. Olivia sat upright in bed, her chest heaving, heart pounding so loudly it felt deafening. The closet door stood slightly open, revealing a sliver of blackness like a hungry mouth waiting to swallow her whole. Olivia whispered, "Who's there?" But only the creak of old wood answered. A low whisper slithered across the room, curling around her ears, cold and wet, dragging her name out with agonizing slowness. She stumbled backward, bumping into the nightstand as the lamp flickered violently before plunging the room into darkness. The whisper grew louder, closer, until it seemed to come from inside her head. Olivia screamed as two pale hands reached from the darkness, clutching at nothing, then vanished into silence, leaving her trembling and gasping for breath. Olivia awoke with a startled gasp, sunlight flooding the room and banishing the shadows of night. She sat frozen, her chest tight, desperately convincing herself it had been a nightmare. The closet stood closed now, innocent and ordinary. She whispered, "It wasn't real," though her voice trembled. A knock at the door made her flinch, and Emily's cheerful voice called out, "You overslept again, Olivia." Olivia forced a smile as she opened the door, hiding her trembling hands. Emily chattered casually about her morning, while Olivia's gaze drifted toward the closet, unease gnawing at her gut. The knob seemed to twitch, but she said nothing. When Emily left, Olivia locked the door, whispering to herself, "I won't open it again," unaware of the faint scratching that started beneath the silence. That evening, Olivia sat at her desk, pretending to read as her eyes darted repeatedly toward the closet. The house was silent except for a distant creak. She muttered, "It's just the house," trying to sound brave. Suddenly, the closet knob turned with a sharp click. Olivia froze, breath caught in her throat. A rush of cold air swept across her back. The door opened slightly, revealing only blackness beyond. She stumbled backward, whispering Emily's name, though she knew Emily wasn't there. The door slammed shut with a violent crack, making Olivia scream. She collapsed against the desk, heart pounding so hard it hurt, realizing something inside was undeniably alive. The next day, Olivia met Emily at a quiet cafe, desperate for comfort. Emily sipped her coffee and laughed, saying, "You just need more sleep, Olivia." Olivia's hands trembled as she said, "I saw it, Emily. I heard it whisper my name." Emily frowned, lowering her voice. "You're scaring yourself. There's nothing there." Olivia's voice broke as she whispered, "Something wants me." Emily reached across the table, squeezing her hand, but Olivia saw doubt in her eyes. As they walked outside, Olivia glanced over her shoulder, certain she felt something watching them from the shadows. That night, Olivia lay awake staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. The house was deathly quiet, the silence unnatural. A faint scratching noise came from the closet, slow and deliberate. She gripped the blanket tightly, whispering, "Please stop." The sound grew louder, turning into a guttural whisper. Her name echoed through the darkness, stretched out and mocking. Olivia sat up, breathing rapidly. The closet knob rattled violently, then fell still. Silence returned. Slowly, the door creaked open by itself, revealing a dark void that seemed endless. Olivia sobbed softly and whispered. Emily was wrong, knowing she wasn't imagining it anymore. Olivia sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the closet door in the pale morning light. Her chest tightened as she noticed long scratches etched deep into the wood. She whispered, No, this wasn't here before." Emily entered with a casual smile, asking, "What's wrong, Olivia?" Olivia pointed at the door, her voice shaking. "These marks, they weren't here yesterday." Emily knelt down, inspecting the grooves, and laughed nervously. "Probably just old wood cracking. You worry too much." Olivia shook her head, stepping back. The closet door seemed to pulse with quiet menace. As Emily turned away, Olivia saw a fresh scratch form right before her eyes, silent and deliberate. Olivia gasped, clutching her chest, while Emily remained oblivious, humming softly as she walked away. That night, Olivia sat alone on the floor with her back against the bed, staring at the closet door. The room was silent, only the ticking of the clock keeping her company. Her eyelids grew heavy when she noticed something move beneath the door, a shadow sliding unnaturally fast. Olivia held her breath, whispering, "Please don't be real." The shadow stretched toward her feet like a dark tendril, then snapped back into the closet. She scrambled to her feet, knocking over a water glass. The sound was sharp in the stillness. The closet door rattled once, violently, before settling into complete stillness again. Olivia stood trembling, tears streaming as she whispered, "It knows I'm here." The next morning, Olivia clutched her coffee tightly as Emily paced the kitchen. Olivia said, "I saw it, Emily. It moved like it was alive." Emily frowned, shaking her head. "You're exhausted, Olivia. You've barely slept. Shadows play tricks on tired eyes." Olivia slammed her cup down, spilling coffee across the counter. "Stop treating me like I'm crazy. I know what I saw." Emily softened her tone, placing a hand on Olivia's shoulder. "I just don't want you to spiral. It's probably nothing." Olivia turned away, whispering, "Something's in that closet, and it's waiting for me." Emily's eyes narrowed, uncertainty flickering before she forced a reassuring smile. Later that day, Olivia sat at her desk, laptop open, searching desperately for answers. Her fingers flew over the keys as she typed phrases about haunted closets and strange disappearances. The results were unsettling. Local legends of a house cursed by a malevolent entity. Olivia whispered, "This can't be real." A picture appeared on the screen, a faded image of her house decades earlier. The article described people vanishing, leaving behind locked rooms and unanswered questions. Olivia slammed the laptop shut, shaking. She heard faint footsteps upstairs and froze. The house creaked and her pulse raced. She whispered, "It's not just in my head. It's in this house." As night fell, Olivia sat rigid on her bed, clutching her phone with trembling hands. The house was too quiet. A sudden, soft creak made her head snap toward the closet. The door was closed, but the air felt heavy, oppressive. Slowly, the knob turned on its own. Olivia whispered, "No, please don't." The door opened just enough for a pale, skeletal hand to slip through, curling its fingers into the room before vanishing again. The door slammed shut with violent force, rattling the walls. Olivia screamed, pressing herself against the headboard, tears streaming down her face. In the suffocating silence that followed, she whispered, "It's coming for me." Olivia woke to the sound of wood groaning, her eyes snapping open in the darkness. The air felt colder than before, heavy and damp like a cave. She turned her head and froze. The closet door stood wide open, gaping like a mouth ready to swallow her whole. Olivia whispered, "No," her voice barely audible. She scrambled to grab the lamp, but it refused to turn on. Her breath came in sharp bursts as she backed toward the far corner of the bed. The shadows inside the closet seemed to ripple, twisting unnaturally. A deep hiss rose from the darkness, and Olivia covered her ears, shaking violently. She whispered, "Emily, please help me," though she knew Emily wasn't there. The hiss turned into low, guttural breathing that filled the room, coming closer with every heartbeat. Olivia held her breath as the guttural breathing grew louder, rattling the objects on her nightstand. She whispered, "Please go away," tears streaming down her cheeks. A sudden thud shook the floor, and the closet's darkness seemed to throb as though alive. Slowly, two pale feet stepped out, just barely visible in the faint light. Olivia screamed and dove under the bed, clutching her phone. She dialed Emily but dropped the phone when a cold, dry hand brushed her ankle. Olivia's heart nearly stopped. The hand retreated, followed by the sound of dragging feet, returning to the closet. Then, silence. A silence so deep it seemed to crush her. The next day, Olivia sat trembling on the couch as Emily paced the living room. Olivia said, "You don't believe me, but it touched me, Emily." Emily rubbed her temples and snapped, "Olivia, you're scaring yourself. I checked the closet last night. There's nothing there." Olivia shot to her feet, her voice breaking. You didn't see it because it didn't want you to. Emily paused, her eyes darting toward the hallway. For a split second, a shadow shifted near the closet, dark and unnatural. Emily's breath caught, but she quickly looked away. I didn't see anything, she lied, though fear crept into her voice. Olivia stared at her friend, realizing she was truly alone. That evening, Olivia wandered the empty street outside her house, terrified to go back inside. A soft voice broke the silence. You've seen it, haven't you? Olivia spun to see a stranger standing under a flickering street lamp, their face partially hidden beneath a dark hood. Olivia stammered, "Who are you?" The stranger stepped closer, calm and unsettling. Someone who knows what lives in that closet. Olivia's breath caught. You know what it is? The stranger nodded slowly. It's older than this house. It feeds on fear and family bloodlines. Olivia's stomach dropped. Why me? The stranger's cryptic smile sent chills down her spine. Because you opened the door. When Olivia returned home, the house was silent, the air thick and stale. She called softly, "Here, Kitty," searching for her cat. The only response was the creak of the floorboards. A trail of small paw prints led toward the closet, smudged with something dark. Olivia's breathing quickened as she followed them. The closet door was slightly ajar. She whispered, "Please, no." Pushing the door open, she froze. The floor inside was smeared with blood, and her cat was gone. Olivia fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. From deep inside the darkness, a low, mocking whisper said her name. She screamed and slammed the door shut, her body shaking violently. Olivia followed the stranger through narrow, fog-draped alleys, her breath visible in the cold night air. The stranger moved with unsettling calm, stopping in front of an abandoned building with shattered windows. Olivia whispered, "Why did you bring me here?" The stranger turned, his voice low and steady. "This house hides the truth about the thing that haunts you." Olivia's throat tightened. "You know what it wants." The stranger nodded grimly. "It has fed on fear for decades. Many families have lived in that house, and most were never seen again." Olivia shivered violently as he continued, "It doesn't just haunt the house, Olivia. It marks people, and it's chosen you." Olivia's hands trembled as she whispered, "Why me?" The stranger's reply chilled her. "Because you are part of its history." Inside the dusty attic of the house, Olivia coughed as clouds of dust rose with every step. The stranger handed her a lantern, whispering, "Look carefully, the past always leaves traces." Olivia swept the light across old boxes and broken furniture. Her gaze froze on a tattered leather-bound journal, hidden beneath a collapsed shelf. She picked it up and opened it, reading shaky handwriting. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "These are names, so many names." The stranger nodded gravely. Victims, every one of them vanished in that house. Some were children. Olivia dropped the journal, horrified. "Why didn't anyone stop it?" she cried. The stranger's face darkened. "Because those who tried disappeared too." Back at Olivia's house, Emily stood with her arms crossed, pacing angrily. "You've been disappearing, Olivia, and now you show up with some creepy old guy telling ghost stories?" Olivia's voice cracked as she said, "It's not just stories, Emily. I found proof in the attic. The house has taken people for decades." Emily shook her head, frustrated. "You're losing your mind. There's no proof. It's just old myths." Olivia grabbed Emily's hands, desperate. "Please believe me before it takes someone else." Emily pulled away, her face pale but defiant. "If you keep talking like this, Olivia, you'll end up in a hospital." Olivia's shoulders sagged as she realized Emily would never truly believe her. Later, Olivia searched the dusty corners of her attic alone, determined to find answers Emily refused to accept. She stumbled upon a small locked chest beneath a pile of rotting blankets. With trembling hands, she pried it open, revealing faded photographs. Her breath caught as she stared at one image, her own parents standing in front of the very house she now lived in. Scrawled handwriting on the back read, "The beginning and the end." Olivia whispered. This was their house. Memories of her childhood flooded back, fragments of screams and locked doors she had dismissed as dreams. She realized with growing horror that the thing had been part of her life all along, waiting for her to return. Olivia stormed back to the stranger, clutching the photograph. "Why didn't you tell me my family lived here?" she demanded. The stranger's expression was grim. "I suspected, but confirmation changes everything." Olivia's voice rose, trembling with anger and fear. "This thing has been tied to me since I was a child." The stranger nodded solemnly. "It doesn't just haunt the house. It haunts bloodlines. It's why it chose you." Olivia's knees buckled as the truth sank in. "My parents, they knew." The stranger stepped closer, speaking urgently. "If you don't stop it, Olivia, you'll be next." Olivia's eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "Then tell me how to fight it." Olivia, heart pounding, approached the dark house with the stranger trailing behind her silently. Emily followed at a distance, hesitant but determined. Olivia whispered to Emily, "Stay back, this is dangerous." The stranger's eyes scanned the surroundings. "Once we enter, there's no turning back," he said. Emily shivered. "I don't care. I'm staying with you." Olivia nodded, swallowing her fear. "We need to end this now." The door creaked open as a cold wind blew out, carrying distant whispers. Olivia's hand trembled as she stepped inside. Emily grabbed her arm. "Do you feel that?" The stranger's voice was low. "It's aware of us. It knows we're here." Olivia's resolve hardened. "Then we'll face it together." Inside the dimly lit hallway, Olivia and Emily scanned the walls for clues while the stranger led them to the basement. Olivia murmured, "I can feel it, moving." Emily's hand shook as she gripped the lantern. "I hate this place," she admitted. The stranger's face remained stoic. "It feeds on fear and confusion. You must stay focused." Suddenly, a shadow moved across the hallway wall. Olivia gasped. "There it is." The shadow twisted unnaturally, and a chilling voice echoed, "You cannot stop me." Emily's knees buckled in terror. Olivia clenched her fists. "We will stop you, no matter what." The stranger nodded silently, readying himself. In the basement's center, an eerie circle of symbols glowed faintly. Olivia stared at them. "This is it. This is where it started." Emily whispered, "Why here?" The stranger knelt, tracing the symbols. "Bloodlines, memories. It anchors itself to the past. We break this. It loses power." The air thickened as the thing materialized, dark and twisting. Olivia shouted, "We won't let you control us anymore." Emily grabbed a nearby broom, ready to strike. The stranger raised his hands, chanting in a low, archaic tone. The creature recoiled, its form flickering. Olivia stepped forward. "Together, we end this." The whispers grew louder, threatening, but they held their ground. The creature lunged at Olivia, its form flickering violently. Emily swung the broom, striking its dark tendril, causing it to screech. Olivia focused on the symbols beneath their feet, repeating the words the stranger had taught her. The air vibrated with energy as the symbols blazed brighter. The creature writhed and screamed, trying to resist. Emily's voice shook as she yelled, "Hold it, Olivia!" The stranger's eyes glowed faintly, channeling his power. Olivia's heart raced, every memory of fear fueling her determination. "It's ending now," she cried. The creature's shape began to destabilize, fragments of shadow breaking apart. The creature's final scream echoed through the house before it vanished entirely. Silence followed, broken only by their ragged breathing. Olivia sank to the floor, trembling but victorious. Emily embraced her. "We did it. It's over." The stranger stepped forward, his expression somber. "It will return someday if bloodlings forget, but for now, it's gone." Olivia nodded, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for guiding me." Emily smiled faintly. "And thank you for believing in me too." The house seemed to exhale, a heavy weight lifted. Outside, dawn began breaking, painting the ruins in warm golden light. They had survived, but the memories of terror would stay with them forever. The first light of morning revealed the destroyed house, its broken windows reflecting a golden sun. Olivia and Emily walked slowly through the debris, carefully stepping over fallen beams. "It feels empty now," Olivia whispered, brushing ash from her coat. Emily nodded, scanning the ruins. "I can't believe it's really gone," she said, still shivering from adrenaline. The stranger watched silently, his eyes scanning the horizon. "The darkness never disappears entirely," he said quietly. Olivia glanced at him. "But we've survived it this time." Emily smiled faintly. "And we'll always remember." The wind carried away the last echoes of terror, leaving only a fragile calm. Later, the trio reached a small clearing outside the house. Birds began to sing, a stark contrast to the horrors they had faced. Olivia knelt, picking up a fragment of the symbols they had destroyed. "Even fragments hold power," she murmured. Emily frowned. "Should we destroy them completely?" The stranger shook his head. "Not yet. We learn, we prepare. One day, someone else may need to stop it again." Olivia gazed at the horizon, feeling both relief and lingering fear. Emily took her hand. "We're ready for that day together." The air felt lighter, carrying the scent of grass and early bloom, a quiet promise of life. As they walked toward the forest, Olivia felt a strange sense of clarity. "It's like the fear we carried is finally lifting," she said. Emily laughed softly. "I never thought I'd be grateful for a broom fight." The stranger smirked faintly. "Fear teaches, courage endures." Shadows moved faintly among the trees, though nothing threatened them now. Olivia paused, looking back at the house. "Do you think it will ever return?" Emily squeezed her hand. "Maybe, but we'll be ready." The stranger's gaze softened. "And perhaps this is the beginning of something greater. Our vigilance, our legacy." They continued walking, the morning sun illuminating a fragile peace. By noon, the trio reached a small village at the edge of the forest. Children played in the streets, unaware of the horrors nearby. Olivia smiled faintly. "Life goes on, doesn't it?" Emily nodded, watching a child chase a dog. "It's nice to see normalcy again." The stranger turned to them. "Remember, vigilance doesn't end. Evil often waits in the shadows." Olivia clenched her fist in silent resolve. Emily put a hand on her shoulder. "Then we stay together. Always." The sun shone high, casting warm light across their faces. The horrors of the past felt distant, yet the lessons remained. As dusk approached, Olivia, Emily, and the stranger sat on a hill overlooking the forest and village. Olivia whispered, "We survived everything, but we must remain aware." Emily rested her head on Olivia's shoulder. "I'm glad it's us against the darkness." The stranger nodded, watching the horizon. "Your courage will inspire others, even when I'm gone." Olivia gazed at the last rays of sunlight. "Then we keep walking forward." Emily smiled. "Together." And shadows lengthened over the forest, but they felt no fear, only a determined hope. Their journey was not over, but the dawn of a new chapter had begun. A storm gathered over the distant mountains, clouds swirling ominously. Olivia, Emily, and the stranger prepared their gear, tension thick in the air. "This is it," Olivia said, tightening her coat straps. Emily checked their tools. "No turning back now." The stranger scanned the horizon, his eyes sharp. "Every step counts and every choice matters," he warned. Olivia nodded, determination burning in her eyes. Emily swallowed her fear, feeling a new strength. Lightning illuminated the forest behind them. "We've come too far to fail," Olivia declared. The wind carried their resolve, whispering of the challenges ahead. They entered the cave where the shadows had first appeared, echoes bouncing ominously. Olivia's hand brushed a glowing rune. "It's stronger than ever," she whispered. Emily's eyes widened. "We need a plan." The stranger stepped forward, voice calm. "Stay focused. Darkness fears clarity and courage." Olivia drew a deep breath. Emily nodded, gripping her staff tightly. Shadows shifted, forming shapes of creatures long thought defeated. Olivia raised her weapon. Emily joined her side. The stranger murmured, "Remember, the power is in unity." The cave trembled, their hearts pounding in sync, ready to face the ultimate trial. The shadows attacked, swirling with furious intensity. Olivia swung her weapon, cutting through the dark forms with precision. Emily's staff glowed, deflecting strikes and illuminating runes on the floor. The stranger moved like a shadow himself, intercepting threats and giving directions. "Keep moving," he shouted. Olivia ducked, rolling to avoid a strike, then countered with fire from her weapon. Emily pushed forward, striking a critical rune that caused the shadows to falter. Sweat dripped down their faces. Fear mingled with adrenaline. They fought as one, synchronized in purpose. Finally, the shadows hesitated, weakening under their combined power. Olivia noticed the heart of the darkness, a pulsating black orb hovering above the cave floor. "That's it," she said, fear and determination intertwining. Emily readied her staff, chanting the protective words they had learned. The stranger positioned himself between them and the orb. "We strike together," he said. Olivia nodded, feeling the courage of their journey solidify. Emily's voice rose in incantation, and light emanated from her staff. Olivia focused her weapon's energy, channeling every ounce of determination. The stranger added his power, a steady, commanding force. The orb quivered, cracks appearing across its surface as the shadows screamed and writhed. With a final surge, the orb shattered into fragments that dissolved into light. The cave trembled, then grew quiet. Olivia collapsed onto one knee, breathing heavily. Emily placed a hand on her shoulder. "We did it," she whispered, a mix of relief and exhaustion. The stranger nodded, eyes reflecting pride. "The darkness is defeated, for now," he said. Olivia looked around, at the fractured runes and the dissipated shadows. "It may return," she said softly, "but we'll be ready." Emily smiled. Together. The cave's shadows vanished completely. Sunlight began to filter through the entrance. Outside, the world awaited, bright and new, and their legacy was secure.